What is up, Internet? This is the Deuce Cast Extra. We are here to talk about all things MCU. And tonight, that means we're going to try something we haven't tried before. Before we jump into Moon Knight, a little teaser trailer dropped today. So we are going to attempt to play this teaser trailer without getting taken down.
So we'll see you guys later.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens here. So here we go. We're gonna try this now.
These hands were once used for battle.
Yes, they were.
Now they're but humble tools for peace.
Look at that.
To figure out exactly who I am.
Yes.
I'm going to choose my own path. Live in the
Bro
So
Thor
awesome.
no longer.
My superheroing days are over.
Oh yeah.
So who's that?
Don't know.
Who is that
We do have Zeus, though.
girl? Zeus.
Yes, Zeus.
And
Played by
Korg.
Russell Crowe.
Yep.
Oh, really?
You ever feel lost? Just look into the eyes of the people that you love.
That's right, Petmatic.
Dude, I love that scene.
Just listening.
Uh-oh.
What? Who's that? Dude,
That
So a lot of
looks-
questions.
That looks
Lot of-
brilliant.
a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, a ton of
I got
questions.
answers.
I'm super excited for that movie, though. I mean, that looks.
I got to
good.
tell you, my favorite part of that trailer, personally,
Yes.
is Star-Lord's and Thor's interactions.
Yes.
Oh
That-
yeah.
y-
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm really, really sad that we're probably not going to get a ton of it in the film.
No.
They're probably going to depart from each other, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I would be surprised if we saw them together for a while, because I think they have a really good rapport together.
Oh yeah. I think they're great.
The end
together.
of Endgame and the beginning of this, and I gotta wonder if that beard is him trying to grow something out to out macho Thor on a show. Maybe I'm reaching here.
No, I can totally see that as a thing. I mean, that we saw so much, even though it's like a 90-second teaser. I mean, we still get to see a lot of really cool things. Obviously, we get that first glimpse, like you mentioned, Zeus.
Mhm.
Yes. Catching
yeah.
the lightning bolt.
Catching the lightning bolt, and
Full
that's going to
time.
be played by Russell Crowe, which is
That's awesome.
I have a feeling. So the bad guy of this film is Gore the God Butcher, which we did not get a
yes,
look at.
we did not see.
There
Yeah.
are toys of him out there now. So
We've seen some pictures of him.
Yes, and there are set pictures of him, and it's Christian Bale basically in makeup.
Yes.
I have a feeling Zeus is going to get killed off, and
Oh.
probably fast
Olympus,
because
the Olympus gods will be murdered.
because he's the God Butcher, and he's going to be
Right,
going after gods. And I have a feeling, that might be a scene where we see Gore the God Butcher introduced to us.
Will there
Yeah.
be a connection to Moon Knight with some gods dying? The Ennead.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
think like Ryfin, I think I agree. Like very early on, Zeus is going to get
Yeah.
killed.
I don't think
Yeah.
it'll be
Yeah,
on the
I
screen
think-
for very long.
One thing I've learned about these Marvel trailers is that half the stuff they show is like the first 20 minutes of the movie
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
only, and
For the
then,
most part, yeah.
Yeah.
We saw a flash of actually, I think Olympus.
Mhm.
Just
Yep.
a real quick shot of Olympus. It looked like they were going back to the planet that
Asgard?
Jeff Goldblum was
That would
over.
make sense.
Maybe.
I think he's
maybe.
been talked about being in this movie, possibly. So
Yeah.
Well,
I
where's
thought I
Tessa
saw-
Thompson been? I guess she's
she's
on
running Asgard on
New
Earth.
Asgard,
New
yeah.
Asgard, yeah.
the
Yeah.
new Asgard,
Yeah.
which apparently
She-
now is accepting cruise lines. If you
Yes.
look at the end,
New Asgard cruise lines. Yeah.
I didn't even notice
we-
that. That's funny.
Yeah, if you
There
go
was-
look at one of the scenes, and I don't know if it's New Asgard cruise lines, but their cruise ships are pulling
in
That's
and
funny.
out. Yeah, there was a quick shot of what I think in the comics they call him Ravenger Thor, where he sort of looks like he's joined the Ravengers.
Oh,
like
interesting.
like that.
I think that's
particular-
what they're calling the movie version of him because he's got the jacket and everything.
the jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, we get more Cog. Hey,
Yes.
A Korg,
guys.
of course. I mean,
I'm sure
Gonna be
Meek will
hanging
be
out?
there as well.
Korg and
yes,
Meek.
yes, Meek. Along for the ride, baby. What
I
else do
like
we
that we really can't tell what's going on at all, other than Thor's kind of trying to find himself a little
I was about
bit.
to say, I think I could guess I don't know the plot line, but
Yeah.
I would guess. Well, and they gave us a plot description as well, so I guess we kind of already know that. But
He's a man
you
of
know,
peace now.
Thor wants to be a man of peace, but then he sees these gods being killed and realizes he's got to get into action and team up with a bunch of people. It's kind of the plot line of what they put out there today. Actually, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
So yes,
did get back
Olympus
in shape.
will have fallen in this movie, and no, that does not mean Gerard Butler is in the movie. Like I think you said earlier in the Discord, Ryfin, and I was just as surprised that we did get that glimpse of Mighty Thor at the end.
Oh, that was Nick saying he was surprised.
Oh, that
I
was
was
Nick.
surprised. Honestly, we didn't see more of it because I feel like that.
Oh,
would've
you
been
mean
a-
with Jane? showing
Yeah,
up?
with Jane, I was surprised she was even in the trailer at all. I
Oh,
mean,
really? No, I
yeah.
thought they'd
Well,
show
for
a
the
little
teaser, like whenever the first trailer comes out, which I assume we'll maybe get before Doctor Strange.
I don't think so because that's 2 weeks away, basically.
Well, that's true. I mean, that'd be
so
quick.
2 weeks from today would be the week of Doctor Strange, and that's usually when they would drop a final trailer for the
And
next
this is
movie.
coming out July. Right?
July.
But
Yeah.
they waited. This is the longest they've taken to drop a teaser
Wow.
for any Marvel film ever,
Yeah.
Marvel Studios film ever.
Yeah.
So I
And yes.
would imagine it comes out after Doctor Strange at this point, probably in June.
Interesting. What would it be before? Like, what would they put it before then? I guess they're just going to go totally YouTube.
They may just.
I don't know
open it up
when does
wide.
Lightyear come out?
Oh,
that
Lightyear's
is that-
June.
Is it?
I think. Yeah. I think that's what it is. Let me.
June 17th. I would put it in front of that.
Yeah, I bet it goes in front of Lightyear as well.
Mhm. And you put it out the Monday before Lightyear. That's what I would do.
Yep.
Jacob has a question in the chat.
Oh, do we get a montage scene of Thor losing his beer gut? Well, yeah. I mean,
yes.
he was
Yeah.
kind of doing that with the chains.
He
and,
was he was working
yeah.
out.
He will show you the way to lose your beer gut.
Yes.
Working out. The problem with I like going into these movies not having read the comics, but also at the same time, there's the problem of not knowing all the little Easter eggs that apparently are in this trailer. Like the two goats are named something.
Yeah,
and then
I think for the most part, reading the comics would probably annoy you more than it would help you out in some of these situations.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, probably
especially with Taika Waititi.
Because you would start to get this idealized version of some of these characters that are completely different.
That's
than the
very
MCU.
different. Yeah, that's true. Well, either way, I'm excited about it. I know that there's some people that still would say that Thor Ragnarok leaned too much into the humor. I would assume that those people are probably not going to like Love and Thunder also.
That's me.
You know, I don't know. So Thor 1 was really good. Kenneth Branagh. Thor 2 I thought was awful. Probably the worst MCU film in my opinion.
Wow.
But they brought in
it.
They brought in a guy to direct it who was like a Game of Thrones director, and that was because they lost Patty Jenkins due to a lot of different stuff. And anyway, really messy behind the scenes. I think that I think that hurt the film behind the final product at least. Then they bring in Taika to do Ragnarok, and I enjoyed Ragnarok more, but I don't know if I love Thor more now, or if I liked him more before. It's a very different character now than he was at first. He's not
I'm
a Shakespearean.
I'm a little bit
anymore.
with you, Garrison. I liked him a little more serious, but
yeah. I mean,
I like him to also have the
you could
humor too.
You
But
could still do the goofy stuff with the serious stuff. You saw that in the first two Avengers movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just where the character is now, and I just kind of have accepted it.
You're
for now.
mourning the loss of the serious Thor.
And Ragnarok was a big deal to Asgard in the comics. Like it was a heavy event,
And
so
I
I'm
think
not,
it was
Yeah.
I think initially it was supposed to be a more serious film, but then they brought in Waititi, and Waititi brings his flair to the film, and it's always going to be really funny. So,
Ragnarok
when's
is
the next
Nick's
episode?
number one.
Oh, the Mom See You finale.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Oh, the finale. Oh, is he saying that
Wow,
Ragnarok is
this
going
is
to
the
be the
wrap-up.
last episode of the Is this breaking
No,
news?
no. I think he's saying when they get
the
to
eventual finale.
Yeah,
Okay.
that it'll still be number one for him.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. It's a very fun movie. I mean, I will say that. Anything with Jeff Goldblum in it for me is
But
good
it's
stuff.
just I felt like they kind of blew at the very end. It was like, oh, well, Ragnarok's gone. I mean, Asgard's gone. Oh well, let's make some more jokes. You know.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I liked the message that Asgard was a people, not a place. Since their homeworld was being destroyed.
Mhm.
But
it's gotta be.
I don't know. A lot of people compare it to Guardians, but I think Taika's humor is very different from James Gunn's humor.
Oh
That's
yeah.
very true. No,
So
I think so.
I'm optimistic, but I'm not in love with Ragnarok. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic about Love and Thunder. I'll just say that.
Right on. Well, let us jump in then to the halfway point, which is crazy to say.
Moon Knight, baby.
Of Moon Knight. I mean, it being only the third episode, also being the halfway point of the 6-episode series. The Friendly Type is the title of the episode, and this was a very intriguing episode for everything that went down.
It was a lot going on.
I think a lot more went down. Well, I watched it twice. So the second time I watched it, I caught a lot more, obviously, and the realization that a lot more happened in this episode than I first had thought. There's just a lot going on.
Yes.
We kind of start in a little bit of funny part where Layla is getting, having that conversation where she's getting her passport and, getting that all taken care of. I guess before that, we saw Harrow continuing his search for Amit, and digging a lot, lots of digging.
He was digging in
very,
in the sand
very
for
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes.
I thought. I love
He just needed the staff of Ra and a little room to.
Yes, exactly. He does have the staff. He's got the staff.
Yeah, that's true.
The guy with the beard, who's kind of his little second in command dude there, he actually looks more like Harrow in the comics because wasn't he more of a bearded type?
Oh, I didn't know.
Guy, yeah. So I'm sure.
I don't know. Number 2 and barely any of it. I haven't read that issue yet. So.
Oh, okay.
Now I was sad, and correct me if I'm wrong. Watching it twice, I didn't catch a QR code anywhere in this episode.
Yeah, I didn't see anyone post about a QR code, so I would say it was just a first 2 episodes thing,
I
don't know what that.
Just the Werewolf by Night issues, which is fine.
Yeah. You don't know what a QR code is, Earl? Is that what you were about to say?
No, I know what a QR code. I don't know what. Did they post one in the show or something?
In the first 2 episodes.
Update,
really,
guys.
so
no QR code in the episode, but they did update the link that the QR code takes you to issue 3 of Moon Knight's 1980 volume, which is the issue that Midnight Man is introduced in.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. Right. Okay, so they're still giving out. Okay, that's cool. I like that.
Yep.
That's a very, very.
I'll have to go back and pull my QR codes then.
There you go. Exactly.
I did not see that in the show.
So there was.
But I'm an old man. I don't.
Really good action sequences in the first half of the episode. Lots of. It made me
a little knife fighting.
Yeah, some knife fighting. It reminded me of James Bond a little bit. I can't remember which one.
I still thought Raiders, but
the jumping on I roof, the parkour.
Yeah. They're definitely going for Indiana Jones though. That's something they've talked about behind the scenes. Sure.
I like the guy licking his knife and he just punches.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing to happen for me though, and this I caught more the second time. I guess I watched it halfway, maybe the first time, but the second time I really caught that Mark and Steven both have no idea what happened with
with the
Yeah,
killing.
because there's
the
a third
killing.
identity.
So
Full-
there's a third identity. Now, in the
who
comic,
could it be?
well, is it that Jeff guy or whatever?
Jake Lockley?
Jake Lockley.
Jake Lockley. So is
Uh,
he portrayed in the comic as being more violent than Mark
No.
Spector?
So no,
It's all messed up. So
Oh,
don't worry
it's all
about
messed up. Okay.
in the comics, the identity you don't want out, and I'm reading through the 1980s series, so I'm not at the present day stuff, and I have heard that Jake Lockley in more recent comics is maybe a little more violent than he is in the older comics, but still, no matter what, Mark Spector is the feared personality in terms of he's like the trained mercenary killer. He's the one that Mark did the people in the body don't want out because he's very emotionless, he's just a killer, basically. And you can get into kind of the background of how he became who he became, and gets kind of a conscience protecting a girl whose father was just murdered in the desert, an archaeologist in the comics, as we kind of learn in this episode. It's also thrown into this episode is the sort of the backstory of Layla, who is clearly just Marlene with a new name.
Jake Lockley is the name of someone who tries to sell you a speedboat at a county fair. Yes.
So Jake Lockley is a New York cabbie in the comics.
He's a cabbie, yeah.
He's like a New York cabbie. He's got a mustache. He puts on a fake mustache and a cabbie suit or whatever. Yeah, it's really cool.
He's the guy who collects information, though, right? He's the
correct. He
informant. He goes out on the streets.
He goes to Crawley, who we see. Crawley's the statue man,
the statue guy. Yep.
And Gina, who runs a diner, and her children, and they're all kind of his informants. And in fact, I believe at one point in the 80s run, like he hires them basically. So Crawley gets taken off the street. He was a homeless man, to the point that they draw like stink lines on him, if you know what those are in the comics. He's got like flies buzzing around.
Oh yeah.
And Jake kind of brings
smelly.
him in. Yeah, he brings him in and gives him money, and he stops being as smelly, I guess. But
so they're obviously going a different direction then.
Yes. Yes. Steven is a very lighthearted, goofy character. Mark has a bit more of a conscience.
Yeah, especially in this episode.
Yeah. He doesn't want to kill the kid.
Yeah.
And
he even hesitates, like when Steven will pop up and tell him to stop or whatever. He even kind of listens to Steven a little bit.
Minute,
he pauses to his detriment, obviously, but I mean, it makes him pause for a minute in the middle of a fight, and he gets knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
Or does he? Well, he gets knocked out, which calls forth whatever this third identity is that we don't get to see,
which is likely Jake Lockley,
which is probably but a very violent Jake Lockley.
And by the way, in the comics, Moon Knight and Mr. Knight are also considered other identities. So really, there's five identities in the comics. Okay. Yeah.
Although I don't think they're playing it less.
Yes. In the show, Mark is more Moon Knight and Steven is Mr. Knight, and
yes,
and maybe Jake will have his own costume. That
Murder Night.
Yeah,
something. Yeah,
it's time for Murder Night.
Murder Night, something much more violent than Moon Knight, which we didn't think was possible. Well, I mean, so obviously this whole episode is in and around Mark mainly trying to stop Harrow from bringing forth Amit
and Khonshu specifically.
Khonshu specifically. And so they end up having like this, almost like this meeting of the avatars of all these different Egyptian gods. So that was a cool concept to me. Where they are able to summon forth all the avatars for this particular meeting that Khonshu calls forth. And it requires all the avatars to show up to this meeting to hear the case of why Harrow, which is Amit's avatar, is doing wrong, basically. And it doesn't go well. It doesn't go well for Mark.
Well, and let me say this: Harrow is not yet Amit's avatar, is he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
I think he is.
I would say so. He just Amit has not,
but he wants to bring her back.
Yeah,
Amit's still trapped.
Yes. And Amit's not one of the gods.
So I guess
she's a demon.
In the sense, Earl, you're right. Amit cannot like possess him like some of those other gods were possessing those other people right now.
Right.
He can summon her power though through that staff.
Yeah. So he may not officially be her avatar. I would.
And they do so well. They summon him to the meeting, and he should as an avatar for Amit. So I mean, that's kind of like what I was assuming because
they summoned him because he was facing judgment.
I thought that it was just the
for
avatars
committing a crime
that were meeting, though. But
she's not part of the. I mean,
because if he was actually the avatar for Amit, they would have arrested him and or whatever they do, killed him. Yeah. I don't know.
And then he talks to Mark Spector like this.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
I am not held to such one.
Man, it looked like Oscar Isaac was in lots of pain during that scene
like
because his neck was like bulging, like as he was screaming those lines. I mean,
I thought that was a weird part to me. I was like, why does he look like he's like forced? But I guess it's because
full avatar status.
I agree with Craig. Where was Apocalypse in this? You could have gotten Oscar to play like four different characters.
Yeah, exactly. So this is an interesting point by Fetmatic. Hero wants full avatar status. Okay,
that's true.
Exactly.
That is one thing, Jacob. He's not obviously putting real glass in his shoes, but I love that in those scenes where he's just walking around,
you hear the crunching.
You hear the crunching of the glass.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great touch.
That's some good Foley work.
The sound mixers, sound editors did. Yeah. I think that's sound editors.
Foley man.
The Foley guy unfortunately has no job anymore. It's all done in a sound mixing board. It's very sad.
So it took me a minute to figure out when the people were like channeling the gods versus just being themselves.
Yeah.
But when their eyes went blue, it was like, they were there. That was a very interesting scene with Aeneid, although I don't think it was all 9 of them.
No, it wasn't. Yeah.
Who was missing?
I don't know all the names, but there was some.
There were only like 5 or 6 people there, right?
Oh, I thought that the whole idea was all of them had to attend this meeting.
Well,
is Amit not a part of that? Is Amit not a part of that 9?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not familiar enough with the gods to know.
Well,
remember on the poster, he goes, "Look, there's supposed to be 9 here, and there's only 7."
Yeah, that's true. There's only 7. Yeah.
Also, we got to remember that there is the real Ennead.
Yes,
and I guess that's probably what they're basing it off of. But in the comics, they also have their own mythology with some of these. Like the Norse gods are a little different in Marvel comics, and.
Oh, that'd be cool, Earl. Earl, you just mentioned it, but that'd be cool if the God Butcher killed some of them.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we might find out. Some people are speculating that he's going to show up in the show.
I just feel like this show's not going to cross over that much.
No, I don't think so.
Well, they keep calling it a standalone. I mean, they kept calling it the most standalone show, but that's a marketing thing. He could show up. I mean, but I don't know. Oh, yeah.
Ouch.
Oh no! Dang, Nick! I stepped on a light bulb barefoot in my car.
Jeez!
Dang, dude.
Man,
that's rough.
He was trying to channel Arthur Harrow.
He was trying he was trying to resurrect Amit over there.
Sorry. On a lighthearted note, I love Jacob's Captain America quote from Avengers 1.
Oh yeah, there's only one God, and he dresses it, and I don't think he dresses
like that.
Yeah, that was a good quote.
All right, back to Nick's pain though, guys. He stepped on a light bulb.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough.
He's turning into Arthur Harrow.
Is there any concern? Does he need to get a tetanus shot, Dr. Earl?
Well, maybe. Depends on if the filament went up into the foot, but from the light bulb.
Nick, there's some sound advice from Dr. Earl. If the filament went
somebody
in your
has
foot,
to pick all the glass out. That's the
gosh. Yeah, it does sound awful. Exactly. That it does. That
hey, I got cuts all over me, but that was because I had to go deep in the woods the other day. So
did your dog get loose?
Yes. Yeah. Mom was handling one of the dogs, and it got really loose and like went way deep in the forest, and got stuck. She had her harness on with her her thing attached to her harness, and her thing got twisted around a tree.
Oh no.
And the problem was she was past a ditch at a certain point, and I was like We had to bring a ladder to get past the ditch.
Oh my gosh! You had your own like Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, it did.
Good
Yeah.
grief!
And
Throw
I
me the
barreled
whip.
when I got her, I just picked her up and just barreled back through the forest.
Oh my
and got all
goodness.
set up. And found a tick on me. So
I was gonna say that you had to have ended up with a tick.
yeah.
Well, now you've got Lyme disease.
You can't travel through. Our friend producer Tommy cannot eat red meat anymore because of a tick bite that he had years ago.
Yeah,
so you might want to
got that.
Honestly,
weird.
if I lose out on red meat, whatever. I like chicken.
We're talking about bacon too, man.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
We're talking.
he can't eat
He can't
bacon.
do red meat. He can't do bacon. That's like the worst.
That alpha
scourge
jar or something.
Yeah, the weird.
What are we talking about? Get back to
I don't know. Sorry.
But don't forget that Khonshu did this by causing an eclipse.
Yes,
and then
and he knew that he was going to get banished for it. Was this the part that he knew he was going to get banished for?
Not yet.
Or that? Oh, that was later. Okay, that was.
But they're like, "Why did you summon us? Why did you do that?" And it better be something important. And then,
wow,
Jeez.
Nick, no holds barred. He's his permanent spot on Extra.
Wow,
jeez, that's harsh, man.
Who will die first? One from tetanus, one from.
I don't even think I have a permanent spot on the Deucecast Extra. I'm just the Star Wars and Marvel.
Oh, you're not.
True. You're not Yellowstone.
I'm not the Yellowstone.
You're not Yellowstone. Oh, Fett's upset. We've upset Fettmatic. We've upset Fettmatic. We don't want to do that. Let's get back to the program. So yeah, I mean, he caused the eclipse. So he did two very supernatural things that
that scene was really cool.
The eclipse scene.
The eclipse scene and the changing of the sky.
The changing of the time. And that's where he was like, he was talking to Steven directly, and he was like, Steven, tell Mark to help me get unbanished or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he knew he would get banished from that.
Yes.
And we saw that.
Yeah, we
basically
saw some self-sacrifice
it was the last resort after the meeting didn't work.
Right. It was
the first move was to get the meeting, and then the second move was to just get it so Mark and Layla could figure something out together.
It was basically like the Elon Musk plan B, which we don't know yet. We don't know what the plan B is going to be, but that's what Khonshu did. Khonshu basically pulled out the plan B, knew he was going to get banished, and did it anyways.
He first sent him to the sarcophagus to get the map, right? So they had to go to Mogart Well, first of all, he goes out in the street and he's asking a chaiwala, a tea drinker, and then what's her name? Maya? No. But Layla shows up. And
Layla.
She's like,
sorry, I stubbed my toe and I had to mute myself.
Okay.
I thought you just did a bump of cocaine off the screen or something. That's what it looked like. You like bent down. And you like
because I was trying to hide my face.
He had a few choice words to say.
I didn't say them. I was close to.
So Layla just was like out in the street, but she just finds them. And then
and that's an interesting thing because apparently she's not beloved in Cairo. She is known as a person who rescues rare antiquities, somewhat like Dr. Jones.
Mm-hmm. She's
her dad was an archaeologist.
Yeah.
She's like the Marion of the. She's
kind of
like Marion.
I think no. I mean, it's more like Dr. Jones.
I was going to say it's probably more like Indy.
Yeah, it's more like Indy because he's rescuing
have a flashback
the rare
scene where she busts in the house and he tells her to
she's
count.
Not trying to put him in. She's trying to take him from museums, right?
No, she's not. No, she's taking them from the black market and
bring
giving
them to the people
back to the rightful owner.
I agree with Coach. That meeting was a total sham. It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was awfully handled.
That was really poorly handled. Coach is accurate on that.
Coach is right. It was a bomb.
The problem is, I think
got
the other
some great indie references. Abner Ravenwood's daughter.
Ravenwood. What did I say? Something. I said the wrong. I said Underwood. It's Ravenwood.
The problem is, I think the other gods just don't. Aside from that one god, I think the other gods just don't like Khonshu,
Yeah,
and so
That's
they
right.
were just like, oh, let's just get this over with.
Let's get this over with. Yeah.
Concho's annoying. Why is he doing this? Let's go back to be. Didn't you get the feeling they were a little bit like the Eternals? Like they didn't really want to get involved. I think they even said that.
Certainly. Yeah, they
basically
don't
not
want to
really
be
worshipped
involved
anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
they're just kind of in the shadows.
Yeah.
It's an interesting all of it's very interesting, but yeah, I mean, from what I gathered from Layla, and she made the comment kind of at the beginning when she was getting her passport made, that she returns them to the rightful owners, but she has kept some for funding.
She's got to make a little profit.
She's got to make a little money off the side every once in a while. So I don't know if Fatmatic says crypt robber. I don't know if I got the sense that she was a crypt robber, but I mean,
I see if they're following the comics. I mean, her father is a legit archaeologist.
Yes, yeah, and they mentioned that in this episode.
Who was murdered by Bushman?
Bushman again,
and Mark,
who Mark was running with, but Mark did not murder her father. He, in fact, that's about. It depends on the comic you're reading. I do know that in the later ones, that's when he has the change of heart. I think he has it a little earlier in the 80s one, but either way, that's when he protects Marlene, who is now Layla in this show, and then gets killed by protecting Marlene Layla, and then gets resurrected from there. Bushman.
Yeah, we assume he's an Aussie. Aussie Nate's not here to defend himself, but we assume that Bushman has to be Australian. But yeah, I did want to show Fatmatic made a good point that the humans lost faith in the gods, and so they're kind of like just hanging out in the shadows and not really wanting to be bothered with much of anything. And Khonshu is kind of like, this is more of a traditional thing.
They're just trying to keep order.
Yeah. This traditional calling of the gods for for trial purposes. It seemed like they just didn't want to be bothered by it, but they felt obligated because it was a tradition. So yeah, I mean, Khonshu speaking through his avatar, which is that whole thing was a good scene. I mean, some more acting chops from Oscar Isaac there. I did enjoy that.
And then Arthur Harrow makes the point that this guy is damaged, he's divided, he's broken.
Yeah, and Mark Spector did mention. Yeah, he agreed with them, and that was sort of heartbreaking. I mean, because he did really, play that well, just saying,
but
how much he was in pain or whatever.
Yeah, but then he also immediately goes, but Khonshu's not wrong.
Right.
In this case, Khonshu's not wrong. Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Khonshu was he was a lot of fun this episode, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was more willing to sacrifice himself than I thought he would be.
Yes.
I thought that from the standpoint of how he had played in the first two episodes, he was sort of selfish, but in this episode, he was willing to do whatever it took to stop Amit from being resurrected.
He's less of a cold-blooded killer.
Yeah.
He's not Barry from Barry, which is returning soon.
That's right. Yeah.
Sorry, just plugging a show I'm excited about.
No, I'm very excited about that. That's going to be awesome. I'm ready for that to come back.
I did like Al Khonshu when the kid cut his thing and said, praise Amit. He's like, I thought he would have talked.
Yeah, no, I thought he was going to too, because Khonshu was so sure of it. I was like,
yeah.
Jeez.
Roth's saying that he likes Khonshu the best. He's favorite of the personalities.
Are you saying Khonshu's not real, Jacob? Because that's a debate in the comics.
I've heard some people say this was all in the head.
I think in the show the gods are real.
I think so too.
Because I think it just has to be for what they're doing.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think just the whole eclipse scene and the time scene, I think it indicates to me that
especially when you show other people seeing it,
watching it,
yes,
seeing it.
Yes, exactly.
But again, that if you want to go on a deep level, they could all just be Mark's mind making all this up. But
sure. Well, I don't know. Maybe
after. Maybe an episode coming up where he's in an asylum.
Well, episode 4, he is the cliffhanger, and
cliffhanger.
I don't know if that would be that would be a cliffhanger. I don't know that is
the
cliffhanger.
Total mind.
Yeah.
So it ends up just being like one flew over the cuckoo's nest. They're just all in this asylum.
They built too much world
or like
here.
Shutter Island or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does feel like
I
they've
hope
built
they
too
don't
much
go that
world.
route.
Yeah, I
And
hope
that
they
was
don't
another
either.
thing. That's another thing that I want to say, and not to knock the Star Wars shows that we've had thus far, but
Mhm.
the MCU shows that we've had versus the Star Wars shows just feel bigger, like because there's so many extras being used.
Yeah.
And it's obviously not on location shooting for these, I don't think.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm gonna say I think what we've gotten from largely from Star Wars versus Marvel is quality from Star Wars and quantity from Marvel so far.
Yeah,
Because I think The Mandalorian is better than anything Marvel's put out so far.
Oh.
Wow.
Well,
Well, I guess I'm just more talking from like a set piece type situation where it just feels like bigger in the sense where it feels like you're on a real set.
But I feel like Marvel's always felt like a bigger universe than Star Wars has in that sense.
Now Andor could change that. I heard Andor did a lot of on location shooting. So
and Kenobi could change some of that, right?
Well, I think Kenobi mostly used the volume. But
really?
I've heard it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, because I think a lot of it took place in L.A. I mean,
you're probably right.
But Andor, I've heard, is a lot of.
They definitely did have locations for Kenobi because there were videos that came out of people going around the set. But
Are you sure that wasn't Andor?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Kenobi.
they might have done some stuff at Pinewood. I don't know. What's this all about? This is craziness.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean,
I liked a couple
Jacob,
episodes.
I endorse that.
I liked some of the episodes. Garrison Rifen endorsed. I'm Garrison Rifen, and I endorse this message. What if I don't know? Okay, fine. Well, we don't need to debate that, but no, they probably can't go to Tunisia. They're probably I
thought I watched the end of this, and there were some scenes shot in Jordan, but
in this particular
in Egypt. I can't remember where they filmed. They definitely filmed a lot in Europe. They never filmed in London, by the way.
Oh,
never filmed in London.
But I could have sworn I saw something about some desert shots in Jordan, but then it could all be on a soundstage too. Some of it looked pretty soundstagey.
Well, when we get to see Marvel Assembled after this is over,
then we will know.
Maybe they will talk. Is that what that show's called? Assembled? Is that what they call it?
Yeah,
Assembled.
Yeah, maybe they'll talk about if they did some on-location shooting. It just seems like that ups the budget once you start doing the on-location shooting versus like a soundstage.
I do know that Mohammed Diab said that they flew in an Egyptian taxi cab driver to be in the show, which means this episode, that was the guy this episode, obviously. Because he gets in the taxi cab. Which means that specific part of the episode was not shot in at least Egypt. So
they had to fly in.
That's a good question, though. I could probably find out where
Jacob says, yeah, they did, because Isaac was like, I'm back in Jordan after.
Oh, okay.
Did he say that, or are you just making that up, Jacob?
I have no idea.
No, I think
sure
I do. Instagram. That. I think Oscar Isaac likes to use Instagram.
Isaac's brother really likes to use Instagram too. And he's like he was. Well, you got to understand. Isaac's brother was the stand-in for the other identity. So Mark was talking to himself in a scene, and they were standing in a room together. He would stand there as the other identity.
Is this a twin brother?
I don't believe so.
No?
I don't know.
We're not allowed to say.
I have no idea.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. Roth, I'm not going to put this in there because that's a really bad misspelling.
I mean, they definitely CGI'd over his face. He doesn't look exactly like Oscar, but
yeah. I'm sure. Yeah. Yes, that's right. This is a good point. It's like Arrested Development with the Iraqi cab driver and driving him there in the California trying to get to LA. Yes, that's so good. So I'm trying to think of the other really big thing that kind of surprised me about this episode is, well, I mean, I think the
first we have to go to Mogart to try to get the sarcophagus.
Yes. The sarcophagus stuff was cool. I was just going to say, just from the standpoint, I think it was a turning point for Mark, at least, to openly admit that he did have problems. I don't think that that's something that he at least verbalized to anyone else but himself.
Yeah.
So that was a big deal, and it allowed that one avatar to have some empathy for him and give him a little hint of what else could be done. So that was important, I think.
Sorry, I think my internet just went out for a second.
What was that sound?
Oh, you're here. No, you're good.
We see you.
So let's go. Let's talk about Mogart because, and we do have to sadly admit that particular actor passed away in a skiing accident.
Gaspar Ulliel.
Yeah.
Honestly, his final scene in this episode, it was done pre-death, and
yeah,
you could kind of just be like, he'll never come back anyway. So
right, yeah, no, totally. Yeah, it wasn't going to be a character they were going to explore beyond this episode.
Very minor villain from the Moon Knight comics. So
yeah.
Garrison's more concerned about the world building than poor Gaspar Ulliel. Tell us, Garrison's just like, well, thankfully, it's just a minor villain. We can kill off that guy.
I'm just trying to say that they gave themselves a good out and they didn't realize it.
Yeah,
he did film that scene pre-death, though. Yeah,
yes, it was pre-death. Thankfully, it was pre-death.
We didn't prop him up like Weekend at Bernie's, and
he was in the sarcophagus. Yeah.
Oh man,
Garrison, man, first the ladies, and now
now the we didn't even talk about Jane Thor that much, but anyway.
So Mighty Thor. That's Mighty Thor to you.
It is Mighty Thor.
Yeah.
He had that pit, I guess, where they were throwing spears or riding horses, or apparently it's some Egyptian game that I've heard about. I don't know. That
they mentioned the name of the game, but when I watched it on closed captioning, I still can't remember it. No, it's some Egyptian word.
It's an Egyptian.
I saw it Wednesday, and I don't remember it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, to Layla's point, she basically told Mark that he is rich enough to have somebody train him in his backyard on how to play the game.
Yeah.
It was like medieval times. It's like that scene in Cable Guy.
Egyptian style.
Oh,
by the way, I love the boat ride. I thought that was
cool.
Lighting of that was super cool when they had that conversation.
That's when they dropped the Madripoor thing. Madripoor line. So everybody throw up their Leo DiCaprio meme of pointing at the screen. I know that reference.
Once upon a time in Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly.
That's wrong hands.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
So that was a cool little Madripoor fun little, hey, that's Falcon and Winter Soldier. So that was neat.
Well, and it's the wider universe. Madripoor will come back in later projects, and that's a big location for many reasons.
The mutants,
and also a lot of seedy things happen, in that area.
Whenever you mention Madripoor, you know it's seedy.
Well, but yeah.
It's there. It is. It's the underworld basically.
It's almost Hong Kong.
Yeah,
but bad or whatever.
Well, it's almost no. It's like that's where all the organized crime takes place and something like that. So
yeah.
Once upon a time,
a Pacific Rim. Oh, what's the story? It's a Pacific Rim. Gangster seedy underground. So
yeah, exactly.
So they find these things, these cloths,
star map, whatever thing. Yeah.
And Steven is like, let me in. Is that
so? That's one. So that's another thing to say about this particular episode is Steven and Mark working together quite a bit more.
Fun. That was fun. Yeah.
And understanding each other's strengths and weaknesses.
Right, exactly. Like Steven, when he shows up as Mr. Knight to try and fight people, he gets a javelin, a spear through. He says, "All right, come back."
Okay, big mistake.
Come back. So they're working well together, and I like to see that because I think together they will be stronger. Together,
and she undid this necklace thing and just stabbed the crap out of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was cool.
That was awesome.
That was cool.
Yeah, she's a good fighter. Khonshu has his eye on her.
That relates to the comics too, because Marlene throughout the comics is shown to be a decent fighter who knows a little bit of martial arts. She trains a lot.
Combat.
And Steven, because he's usually the guy who's with her, really talks about how she needs to be training for all this stuff because she could be in danger because of him, and she does get in danger because of him a lot, but she puts herself in there because she thinks she can do some of these things. And sometimes she can, sometimes she can't. It depends on how powerful the villain is. But yeah, so I like that. Again, she's very much Marlene, just Egyptian now. Because that's what they wanted to do with the show.
Well, I mean, when you're an obtainer of rare antiquities, you must know how to fight. You must learn the ways.
Yeah.
You must learn the
I
ways.
think we learned that in a film from the 80s. So yeah.
Yes, exactly. Although he's more brute than martial arts.
So let's not forget to mention, though, that there's some secret that Harrow mentioned, right, about Mark and something in that. Well, we know what it is, I think, just from the backstory.
No, go ahead.
But like, it's brought up to I keep wanting to say Marlene, to Layla.
Yeah.
And aren't they in a truck driving somewhere? And where was that scene? Is that in this show? There's
it
something,
probably is. I just don't remember.
There's something where he's like knows there's something that he did to hurt her in the past, which is, I think, he's killed her dad. And I think Harrow brought it up, actually. He goes, "Do you know?"
That's right. That
happened?
That someone could take that dialogue, if I remember correctly, and interpret it as meaning that he killed her father.
Right.
I don't.
Or at least he wants her to believe that.
The reason the reason I don't want that to be the case is because the whole origin of his comic counterpart is that he kind of sacrifices himself after her father is killed by these guys he's with, because he thinks what they did was wrong, and that they're doing a really bad thing, doing what they're doing in the desert, which is kind of raiding and pillaging this place. And he has a change of heart in that moment and protects Marlene, Layla, whatever.
Right.
So I would hope they don't do that, but if they do it, I would have to see how they take that direction.
It may be that Harrow's just lying, or
But again, I feel like Bushman should be that guy. Bushman is a big Moon Knight villain, so I feel like he should be introduced.
He needs to show up. We need a Bushman.
Revel in Bushman.
What does he look like in the comic?
He's got kind of this tattooed face with
crazy
these
hair
kind of fangs, and
so they could get Mike Tyson to be Bushman.
Now he does have like a white painted, I think it's like tattooed, but face. So you could do Mike Tyson. You just got to paint him up. Yeah.
Well, it's just because of the face tattoos. But,
yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe they'll show up. I don't know if they want to call him Bushman though, but I don't know.
Yeah.
He looks like an Aussie.
No. Embrace the weird comics.
No, I know. I know.
Aussie.
He looks like an Aussie.
Wow.
Yeah. So you're
Embrace
right.
your comic.
Why not embrace the comic name? You're right. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't do that. They should. You're right.
Do it.
Do it.
If I'm not mistaken, he also gets his face. Moon Knight cuts off someone's face, I think, in the 06 run, and it may have been Bushman's.
So would you say he gets his face off?
Oh, I see what you did there.
There it is.
Oh yeah, I see the panel right now. Gross. Anyway.
They cut his face. They're
actually showing his face with it off. Ugh.
Oh man, that's gross.
That is not a kid's comic.
And then John Travolta shows up.
Yeah.
So I think we're in the desert now, right?
We're in the desert now, and this whole time thing, I don't know. I mean, because you forget for a minute. I mean, there's obviously all this like supernatural Egyptian god stuff going on, but let's go back 2,000 years to look at a specific star.
Well, he just turned back what the sky looked like 2,000 years ago. He didn't actually travel back in time.
Okay.
Yeah, there's people that are confused about that. I don't, and I agree with you. I don't think the move time to 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Although there are some people are saying that, and I'm thinking,
and no,
we're not going to go back to.
Well, no, because we stayed in modern times and people were watching it happen. So it's not like
he He was just going through what the sky looked like night by night by night.
It was like he was just changing the channel.
It was like he was going through his memories, but affecting the real world by doing it.
yeah.
Or maybe it's all just in Mark's head. It's all in Mark's head.
Yeah. Well, let's not go too far with that, though. That's the problem. You have to find.
I don't want to do that.
You have to find a balance of what is in his head and what, because there has to be something fake, because that's what a lot of the recent comics do. But
right.
You have to strike that balance of you can't pull the rug out from under us and everything be fake. Unless
that's the big thing that changes
I think a lot
everything.
of people would, I think a lot of people would hate that.
Yeah.
Well, they could. The only reason that I say that they might do that is because they're trying to go for a sense of realism that doesn't necessarily need to be there, because this is a comic book show. But if they say, oh, this is all in this guy's head, then they could say all the stuff that you saw with the Egyptian gods and all this stuff wasn't real.
To Coach's point, the dig site was just to find a certain thing, correct? I mean, it wasn't. They couldn't actually find it themselves. Well, I don't remember.
Well, they were using that scarab thing.
Yeah,
even Harrow couldn't find.
They couldn't find it until they found the stars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
they needed to find that specific constellation.
I guess maybe eventually Harrow could have found it, but
he kept digging and
So the constellation is going to show us where Ahmed is.
Yes.
So why would we want to show that?
Touche, Nick. Touche.
Well, Harrow doesn't know about the constellation. I don't think. Does he?
Well, he does now because he saw the sky.
He doesn't know what it means.
He doesn't know where to look.
No, not yet. But he did know that they were finding, and then he made that.
I feel
comment.
really bad because I don't remember the episode as well right now. But.
Well, he made that comment in the car while he was looking at the sky. He was like, "Oh, Khonshu, you've whatever."
Oh, Nate's in.
Nate.
Yeah. I'm surprised.
What did he say?
Night.
I think I might have.
But Harrow's digging already. Okay. That's true. But so does Harrow know where Ahmed?
No. Harrow.
He's got a compass.
He's got a compass.
He's got the. I know he's
giving him the general area.
Yeah, they found something because it went straight down or whatever.
So I don't know.
I need to rewatch the episode.
I don't know.
I'll have to. I just don't remember because Harrow sees the sky changing and he makes a comment, and I just don't remember.
Well, he just makes a comment of "You'll pay dearly for this, Khonshu," in
reference
to the fact
he's so anti-Khonshu about everything.
Yeah, just reference
to the Khonshu
that he's going to be trapped. Khonshu knows that he's going to be trapped and have to be saved at this point. And also, he made that one comment while he was looking at the Khonshu statue at some point in the episode, and I wrote it down.
Oh, that's right. He comes and finds Khonshu.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite lines. He was like, "Your torment forged me. I owe my victory to you."
Yes,
basically taunting Khonshu.
Yes, he's not a fan.
So he's not a fan. And so
now the interesting thing will be what happens to Mark's powers in terms of Moon Knight's powers.
Now that Khonshu's confined,
right?
Yeah. So I would guess he doesn't have his powers anymore.
He said he was getting weaker.
In terms of being Moon Knight or being Mr. Knight.
Yeah.
But he's still a mercenary who has good weapons training. And, You know,
and look,
he'll be a slouch.
If he has to, he can always lean on the skills of Layla.
Well, if he has to. If he has to, see, you got to understand, he got bit by Werewolf by Night. And so early on in his comic run...
Wait a minute. What? We can't do that.
Hasn't happened in this show. Don't even.
If you had gone to the QR code, you would have realized.
Early on in his comic run, they don't even talk about this in Werewolf by Night. It's later on. Early on in his comic run, though, his powers are dictated by the moon. So if it's a full moon, he's at full strength. But if it's like a crescent moon, he's still really strong, but he's not as strong as he could be.
Werewolves,
not dingoes, werewolves.
Yes, Werewolf by Night, which will be a Disney Plus special soon, and is filming right now,
somewhere around Halloween, perhaps.
Yeah. So I've read some people said that he still will have some residual power for Moon Knight, but just like Arthur Harrow has some power
Like
from a confined Amit, he could still have some. Now we don't know. We don't know.
He gave
yet.
him that staff. He has to have the staff to have that power, though, and he speaks that whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the
interesting.
writers have already thought about this, so I'm interested.
Obviously,
to see
they're gonna. There'll be some big reveals.
Yes.
Without Khonshu, he's just going to be a mental patient. No, I'm just kidding.
We have seen clips of him in trailers in a mental facility. So.
I know.
That's bad.
And dingoes are greater than werewolves.
Dingo's great. A dingo ate my baby.
When people talk about Dingo ate my baby, I just think of the Tropic Thunder scene where.
Well, that's what it is. That's that. But
are
we still allowed to talk about that movie? I don't know if we are. Anyways, will Mark wait? What? Will Mark turn back to death?
So I think he's saying without the powers, would he without Khonshu, would he just die? And I think the answer is no, because he didn't.
Yeah, well, Khonshu basically
I think he's already been revived.
Rescued him from his deathbed or whatever.
And maybe he wasn't fully dead at that point. In this,
I'm not fully dead.
In the show timeline,
it's just a flesh wound.
in this, well, hey, he had all those things thrown.
Happy.
He had all those spears through him. It pretty much was a flesh wound thing.
That's true. Well, that's what led me to believe that the suits have some pretty big power to them. Yeah, I mean,
I think I'll go for a walk. Oh, you're not fooling anyone.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, thank you, Nick. That's Elaine.
That's the original. Yes. Yeah, that's the original reference. Yeah. Oh wait, no. Sorry, I missed. Yeah, that's the exactly.
Look, I'm in a bit of a hurry here. Could you help me out?
Well, we talked about spare a square in class the other day, if that makes you happier.
You're dead. I can't spare a square. Can you please spare a square? That was a great episode. All right. Well, I think we've exhausted everything that we can on episode 3 of Moon Knight. It was really good. I'm really enjoying this series.
I'm excited for this upcoming week, Wednesday, because I mean, there's been a lot of hype around this 4th episode. There are some people that got the 5th episode, by the way, screeners of
what?
Whoa!
Why are they giving them all these screeners?
Some people, some people were accidentally given access to the 5th episode and watched it immediately, and then found that it was not on their account anymore.
Whoa!
And some of those people think the 5th episode's even better than the 4th episode, but the 4th episode's got the most hype right now. So
yeah, a lot of hype just because that's what most people got, and then
well, Jacob, I would say the problem is it was sent to some people who like leak stuff. So like
it was sent to leakers.
Was it
those evil leakers?
I would hope that Disney's not that dumb, but that's just a bad idea.
That's awesome. All right, Nick Roth.
Go watch the new Batman.
Matic, Craig. We had a good group.
Watch Batman. Don't listen to our episode.
Hanging out. I really appreciate all you guys hanging out in the chat. It really makes it fun for us to do this show.
Yes.
Apologize for the Monday night. We will be back to Tuesday night. Unless you guys prefer Monday night. If we get a consensus that we prefer Monday, Earl doesn't like Monday. Okay, Earl doesn't like Monday nights.
Well,
so we'll be back to Tuesday. Earl doesn't like Tuesday nights either, though.
I think we used to do Monday nights.
Did we?
Yeah, at one point.
Do Mondays a long time ago?
Yeah.
Originally?
In a galaxy far, far away.
Oh, interesting. Well, I don't know. I think we'll stick with Tuesday.
Mondays. Okay, we'll stick with Mondays.
Jacob likes Mondays. That's all it took. If Jacob likes Mondays, we'll see what happens. We'll talk about it off air and see if Mondays, to give people maybe a full day before the next episode comes out of the show that we're reviewing. Maybe Mondays are better. Who knows? We'll see. We'll talk about it off air. But again, I am watching Tokyo Vice, and it is awesome. I love Tokyo Vice.
I need to get into that.
I will be watching Barry soon on the same app. So
no, it didn't have anything to do with Tuesdays. Oh, but Monday I do have tennis often. We'll see. We will see. Maybe it'll have to be Tuesdays. It might have to be Tuesdays. You're right.
That's all right. That's fine.
Thank you for reminding
me. It's okay.
Well, we're getting a lot of good viewership on the episodes, but not any further subscriptions. So that's what we really need. We need more subscriptions. So if you guys could please share
What?
the episode, like the episode, ring the bell, slam the bell, whatever you say, whatever the kids say about the bell.
Mash the bell.
And we will
No.
be back next week, probably Tuesday, to talk about episode 4 of Moon Knight, and maybe, heck, if there's a trailer that drops, maybe we'll watch a trailer again. That was kind of fun. Really appreciate you guys joining us again this evening. Garrison, where can people find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on Twitter at GRyfun3, RYFUN. You can find me on Letterboxd at GRyfun, where I'm actually starting to watch more movies right now, finally.
I like it.
Although it's getting to the point in the semester where I have a bunch of final projects due, so not really as much in maybe the coming weeks. And you can find me on the Deucecast Discord, here, obviously, every Tuesday, whenever we do it.
We'll stick with that. Well, let's stick with Tuesdays.
Okay. Every Tuesday at 10, and that's about it.
Dr. Earl is off the grid.
Well, no, wait a minute. I'm in the medical journals. You can find me there.
Oh, are you written? Are you written
Go
up?
to JSTOR and look up.
I do have one article, but that's beside the point.
That's another story. But also, Dr. Earl does hang out every once in a while in the Pretentious Corner. You may want to check the Pretentious Corner this evening, Dr. Earl. Jeremy Burgess may have contributed something.
Really?
That he probably wants you to see, because he specifically put it in the Pretentious Corner.
Well,
so
I'm going.
You just might need to go check it out right away. I am on the Twitter at the Michael Nip. I'm also mostly in the Deucecast Discord. Every Wednesday we release the Deucecast movie show. This coming Wednesday, we finally put a bow on 2021. We talk about our top 10 of 2021, and we reveal the Deucey winners.
It's a big episode.
Big episode this coming Wednesday. It's so big, in fact, that Dave may need extra time to work on it.
The Deuceys.
So it may come out a little bit late Wednesday. I'm just saying.
I'm not accepting this.
I know. Craig.
How late? Wait a minute.
I know. Craig's not happy right now.
It's got to be perfect. This is the premiere.
There's a lot. Yeah, this is the most important awards show ever.
This is big. No slapping in this. We're all civil.
No slapping. No.
Well, you're not in studio right
well,
still, so
unacceptable. Oh man, Roth is saying unacceptable. Oh my gosh, this is Deucey reaction show. I would love that. That would be really funny.
You can bring on an anonymous Deucey voter. I could.
Oh man, you could be like an inside source Deucey voter.
Pitch change on the voice, and
that's right. Yeah, it was fun tonight, guys. We'll be back next week, and I really love doing this show. So we're gonna keep it going. I mean, we've got Star Wars coming. Nick will be back for Star Wars this coming May, so it's gonna be fun. We're really looking forward to all the shows that we're gonna get to continue to talk about.
Bring back Nick.
And who knows when the next Yellowstone show comes out? We'll be doing that, and Roth will be on that whenever that next Yellowstone show comes. So Nate, you need to find an Australian show for us to watch, and maybe we'll have you on Deucecast Extra. We'll expand Deucecast Extra for Australian shows as well.
They may make Bushman a hero, and sort of like Morbius, and have its own movie.
They really could. All right, I'm gonna hit the outro, guys. Have a good night, everyone.